Hi everyone, my name is Abbey Butcher, and today we are going to discuss the benefits of mindfulness and how it can be used to reduce teacher burnout. So, some learning objectives that we are going to touch on today include we are going to explain what is teacher burnout, the effects of teacher burnout, and the benefits of mindfulness-based practices in general, and then how these practices can reduce teacher stress and burnout. So, this learning segment would be intended to be given to teachers, like as a professional development or something, that way that they can have these tools in their belt to better help their students and use these methods to reduce their stress and burnout. So to start off, I want you guys to take 1 minute and write down some things that you do to relieve stress, and then we'll circle back to these later on in the lesson. So take 1 minute. How do you reduce stress? Okay, so now that you've written down some ways that you relieve stress, I want to explain to you a little bit about what is teacher burnout, and how it can affect teachers. So, if you don't know, a lot of people in the profession know that teaching is an emotionally and physically high demanding and draining job that can become very stressful. Some of the reasons that this is very stressful is because teachers have many daily responsibilities. They are responsible for delivering academic instruction, facilitating student learning and engagement, and managing classroom behaviors. A lot of teachers are dealing with 25 to 30 kids in a room, and they have to manage all of their different behaviors, their needs, their academic needs, social needs, mental needs. It's a lot that goes into it, and you're constantly giving, and it leaves almost nothing for yourself at the end of the day. A lot of teachers are drained and exhausted. So, mindfulness is a great way to help this, and we'll learn about that. So some before we get to the mindfulness part though, we have to talk about some results of burnout. So, burnout can lead to a poor quality of teaching, and that will directly affect students. So, some examples of this are teachers are less sympathetic towards students when they're stressed and burnt out. They may have a lower tolerance for frustration in the classroom. They may plan for their classes less often, which is unfortunate for students because if the teachers aren't taking that time lesson planning, then the students aren't getting the full extent of the teacher's abilities. Let me just close my door really quick. Sorry about my dogs. Um, Okay. So, and they may fantasize on leaving the profession altogether, which is super sad. They may experience poor quality of student interaction, which those student interactions are super important between teacher and student because some students don't have a role model at home, and the teacher is that person in their life. And if the teacher's burnt out and doesn't have enough to give to that student, then that student is it's at a disadvantage. It's sad. It may lead to counterproductive instruction and increased absences of the teacher, which kind of all affect burnout. And in this little image, it shows you that burnout can actually also lead to headaches and muscle tension, trouble with sleep patterns. So it's physically as well as mentally draining. So all of this being said, this is why mindfulness can be beneficial. So let's talk about what is mindfulness. Mindfulness is defined as a state of consciousness in which individuals attend to ongoing events and experiences in a receptive and non-judgmental way. So, mindfulness is basically the state of being present. Be present. If you think about it, this is something that stuck with me. Anxiety is worrying about the future, and depression is dwelling on the past. So, the way to relieve anxiety and depression and stressors is to only focus on that present moment. Don't worry about, oh, what lesson am I going to teach tomorrow? Because that's taking your attention away from what you're doing right now with the kids. And that goes for anything in life. If you're present and you realize that all you have is the present moment, then you'll be more attentive and more compassionate with yourself, and you'll be more at peace and happy because all you have is the present. So you might as well enjoy it. Some ways to get yourself into that mindfulness state is doing meditations, doing yoga, mindful eating, breath work, and journaling. I just wanted to show you this quick video about the scientific power of meditation, and that will show you some physical effects that mindfulness has, as well as mental.
For thousands of years, people have practiced meditation for spiritual, emotional, and physical well being. But from a scientific perspective, how exactly does meditating affect your body? Does it really do anything? It all starts in the brain. During meditation, brain scans see increased activity in regions directly correlated with decreased anxiety and depression, along with increased pain tolerance. The default mode network, in particular, is activated when one's mind is at rest and not focusing on the outside world, and has been found to improve memory, self-awareness, and goal setting. Want to be more caring to your friends and family? When scientists compared the brains of Buddhist monks to new meditators, they found the region of the brain associated with empathy to be much more pronounced in the monks. It also literally changes your brain waves, and we can measure these frequencies. Meditators have higher levels of alpha waves, which have been shown to reduce feelings of negative mood, tension, sadness,
And anger was the last part, it got cut off. But if people consistently practice mindfulness, then they'll eventually be more empathetic. And that empathy is super important in teachers because you need to be patient and kind and compassionate with your students. And that all ties into empathy. If teachers are empathetic towards students, they'll have way more patience for their behaviors. If they're empathetic and understanding to their situations going on at home, they're going to be more willing to help them and build those relationships and teach them. So, yeah, and now I just want to go over some other benefits of mindfulness. Um, Mindfulness can heighten activation in brain regions responsible for regulating attention and positive affective states, including empathy and other pro-social emotions. So, if you're regulating attention, balance, compassion, that will all tie in to your students. Your students can feel when you're in a better, calmer state. It's all energy. So if the teacher is in a calm state, the students will feel calm, they'll feel relaxed, they'll feel present. So it all ties in together. And that's with anything, not just teaching. Um, another benefit is it gives you the ability to better manage conflict and anxiety, improved productivity in the classroom, the ability to aid in curriculum development and implementation, and facilitate positive changes in the classroom. So this bullet point was taken from a study done on elementary school teachers who participated in an 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction program where they practiced meditation, yoga consistently for 8 weeks. And this is the results of it. They had better tools to manage the struggles that come with teaching. I wholeheartedly believe this because personally, I'm a student teacher and I practice yoga consistently like 4 or 5 times a week, and I absolutely love it because at the end of student teaching, like, I'm drained. Like, my cup is down here, but when I go to yoga, I'm, like, filling myself up because 'cause I'm taking time for myself, self-care, self-love, and that reflects on my students that I'm full again for them. So it's a very beautiful thing. Mindfulness also, I'm sorry, improves anxiety, less emotional exhaustion, which is an aspect of burnout. It reduces stress and it's less depersonalization. And that was done in a study in 1984. And I included that because even back then we were noticing it. And I feel like we know about mindfulness. I don't know why it's not more pushed out there in life, but once you, like, experience that feeling of being present and realizing that, like, all we have is this moment right now, then you're gonna enjoy it more and appreciate it more and not be so stressed about the future and other little things that don't matter so much. So, I hope you guys did take something out of this today. Even if you're not a teacher, I hope you were able to learn about some benefits of mindfulness. So, in order to test your knowledge, I have this short quiz that has some short answer questions. So, the first one, I want you to discuss how teacher burnout can affect students. So, if you have a stressed teacher, how can that directly affect students? I want you to discuss some examples of mindfulness that we talked about. And then in your own words, how can mindfulness practices reduce teacher burnout? And then number 4, I just threw this one in there. I want you to reflect on your responses that you gave in the beginning on how you relieve stress. And I want you to think about, were those examples of mindfulness, or can you be mindful while doing those? Which you can be mindful while doing anything. So how can you make that into a mindful situation by being present, by, maybe if your favorite pastime is to watch a show or vent to your friends, like, when you're maybe instead of watching a show, you can pause your show and journal for 10 minutes and then go back to watching your show. Because watching TV is a very mindless activity, but sometimes we need mindless activities to decompress as well. So it just depends on what you need. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you learned something and got something from this. Thank you.